Well, I started in New York like Scott did, and my audition process lasted it was before Christmas. It was sometime in December, and it stretched out over about 6 or 7 weeks, and I went in 7 or 8 times. And I finally went in for the final test, and I didn't hear anything for 2 weeks, and I'd given up. I'd gone to San Francisco. I was out of town. I was done with it. And eventually they called me and told me they wanted me to come do it. And I later found out, Pete told me that I was only at the test because they needed another person there. He didn't even know who I was. And for some reason, the casting director was like, just bring that Guilford kid in and whatever. So I don't know what happened behind the scenes, but eventually I got the part, and Pete, I don't know how they convinced him, but.
Well, it was a little different. I mean, hi. I auditioned a long time ago for the movie Friday Night Lights in a really small room with a casting director. Did you know?
I don't remember.
Yeah, they sent you a tape. They sent you a tape because Pete. They were already in Austin.
Cocaine.
Yes, I know. And so they sent a tape to Pete, and after some hemming and hawing, he finally cast me in Friday Night Lights movie, and that was really cool and great. And I got to work opposite Billy Bob Thornton. Y'all are familiar with him probably. And then Pete, like a couple years later, Pete was like, "Hey, we're gonna do the TV show version. Why don't you play that same role?" And I was like, "Well, do you remember that you cut most of my part that I did in the movie out?" So I'm not quite sure. But actually, Pete, like over the years, had been sort of like to all my friends, whenever he'd run into him at parties, he'd be like, "I really owe Connie Britton. I really want to, that wasn't right. That wasn't right." And so anyway, we talked about it, and he took a pin and pricked his finger and made a blood oath that it was going to be a really cool part. And then he said I was going to be playing opposite this guy named Kyle Chandler, and I was like, "That's no Billy Bob." But I did it anyway.
Is it my turn?
Yeah.
That's funny. Yes. Mine was, we just had an initial meeting. I was on the lot, and Linda Lowy, the casting director, said, "You got to get over here." And I guess she had to, from the story I got was she had to talk you into seeing me because you knew about me. He's too young, get him. So I came over there, and
You were in your Grey's Anatomy suit.
yeah, I was working on Grey's Anatomy, so I was in my bomb outfit before I blew up. And we met, and then we just had a conversation with the, you asked me about it. It was just a conversation. It was a nice conversation. And then we met again at another restaurant where I first met Minka, and Minka was just leaving. I was next in line, and we spoke about it, and that was when Pete goes, "What'd you do last night?" And I said, "Well," so I happened to be leaving tonight for another friend's 40th birthday, but I'd just come from one of my other friends' 40th birthday the night before, and we had a great time. And he goes, "Whatever you did last night, I want you to keep doing it." So I went home and said, "Listen, honey, here's what I was told I have to do. I have to smoke a lot of cigars, drink a lot of wine, and watch a lot of football." So, and that's sort of how it happened to me. But it was just like I think everyone would admit. I mean, everyone's saying how gracious the process was for rehearsing. This whole process has continued on like that from the get-go, and it's come from the top and the choices that this guy's made, and to getting these great people and these great writers, and everyone allowing each other to do what they do. And some people are born into tough families, some people are born into really good families, and we've got a great family. It just happened that way. So the show's just really, you can't make it happen. It just happens.
It seems like chemistry is a word that's often thrown around in TV. Actors have good chemistry with each other, but with you two, it seems like is it something that kind of you worked on, or right away when you first met on set, or kind of talk a little bit about that?
Connie pretty much demanded a third of my paycheck.
Just like any good wife should.
No, we sort of, I don't know, we kicked, I said something the other day to someone. I said, even in our improving, both of us can play the fool for each other, and yet the other person can always feel like they're safe to make as big a fool as they want of themselves. But when you're acting with someone, you know you're safe, and they'll prop you up, or they'll take you to that next spot. So it's always fun and exciting. It just happens that we're two actors that click in a neat way like that it's, you know, I'm very fortunate, and I know she is also.
We got lucky for sure.
Had you known each other before the show? at all?
No, we met the first day on the set when we were going to shoot a scene. We just met in the trailer.
I mean, you guys have both been on shows in the past, several shows. Do you kind of tell these guys that shows like this don't come around that often? That it's
Yeah,
like,
all the time.
you know, you really got to be appreciative?
They won't know until this is over.
I mean, I hope that they never have to find out, but there's nothing like this out there, for sure. And for an actor, but for anybody, any of us working on it, it's
Yeah.
the best experience.
What about, anybody can answer this, what's kind of like the experience of working in Austin, kind of being away from LA? Is it a good thing? Is it a bad thing? How do you guys kind of feel about it?
I think it's great. I think it's great. No distractions, and you get the whole authenticity of being in Texas. And there's just, you don't fake anything. It's all real. There's no sound stages. You're all in a house, or you're on a field, or you're on a street. And I just think it adds to the show, right? I mean, I think it's fabulous, and the people are great, and you just forget, you know, that you're making such a fabulous piece of work. You're just doing your thing, and then you come out here and you're like, oh yeah, you know.
Austin's like this oasis in the middle of Texas. It's green and it's hilly and it's beautiful, and there's so much to do outside. And I think Kyle said earlier, he's like, when you're on the way to work, you're dealing with Texans all the way in. But you know, besides that, as far as just being a cast and crew and everything, it just gave us a chance to really kind of come together. As Kyle used the word family, and it's exactly what we are. You know, after we get done at work, we don't have to run off to another meeting or anything. After we get done at work, you know, sometimes, hey, you want to go get a drink? Let's go get a bite to eat. You know, let's go get lunch. Let's do whatever, you know. So, play some basketball, in which I always beat Jesse Clemens. Always.
We won't talk about it right now.
And you see all those beautiful shots in that episode, and it's so great to work in Texas and to really have that as our backdrop. And you know, I think that just really contributes to what we get to do with the show, to make it authentic and make it real. I feel like it wouldn't be the same anywhere else.
Is it hard for you, Kyle? Because I know you fly back to see your family a lot.
No, the benefits outweigh the cost at this point. I mean, this is really, as an actor, it just doesn't get any better. It doesn't get any better than this. It's
Is it a
incredible.
different type of acting because it's so kind of such real locations rather than sound stages, and is it kind of different techniques?
Yeah,
or?
the whole process is a little different from anything I've done. I mean, yeah, it's just different. I mean, I could go into the whole deal and spend 15 minutes talking about it, and I know exactly. No one would know what I was talking about, but it's just there's something about the trust and the honesty. I equate it to when you first do a play. The first day of rehearsal is the most exciting, and you've got the anxiety and you're a little scared, but you get into it, and you know it starts to get fun, and challenging, and you start seeing the dark side and this side. We do that with pretty much each scene over the course of the first hour of shooting, and that is put together into something, and so we get to explore it right on the spot, first thing up, and it's just exhilarating. It's fun to go to work. You know, it doesn't matter. It's fun.
A lot of takes per shot, or is he pretty much first taken out, or?
Depends if I'm working with Connie or not.
Well, and you see how much freedom we have. I mean, watching the gag reel, you see how much freedom we have. I mean, we're just, it's just kind of like anything. We go on the set and anything goes, and the cameras are free too, and they'll move with us and they'll find the story. They'll find little shots that you could never plan, and but that's in terms of, we keep talking about what a great job it is for actors. I think it's because the process that Pete created, and that these guys, Jason and Jeff Reiner, our sort of resident director, have continued and just made even better. Is it allows for all of us to be as free and spontaneous as we can be, and it's really great.
Yeah, and it can't be said enough too. These guys that are running the thing and writing these episodes, it's just great stuff, and you're always excited when the scripts come and to read the scripts, what have you. And again, it's just like the football team, if you will, but it is a hell of a great team, and everyone shares. And I've never been part of something where I've worked with people that are in charge, that are so giving of themselves and so giving of their work, to share it and let it be shared. It's really stunning.
Yeah, it's a
brilliant.
very fluid